So here we are at the Cliff House, and we're here with Juan Flores, the project manager for this project. So Juan, we've gone through this project, and you've been on this project for about a year now, and we've gone through this project looking through kind of the history and the evolution of this project. And it is a very different house than when we first came here. When we first arrived, the ceiling was about 6 foot 6 inches high, so it was just a few inches above my head. And this was actually like a closet kind of pantry area, and it was very dark. And now it's a completely different area, and it's actually the front door. So what we have is the front door of the house. And this wall right behind you, which is now a closet, was actually something completely different. So tell me what's going on right behind you in this closet.
Yeah, so this area was part of the rear entrance. So now it's going to become the main entrance.
Okay.
So we're trying to take advantage for every little space that we found, which is like this one. This chase is being created for the HVAC system, which
so
is
the furnace was in this space right here?
No, I mean actually the furnace was part of the exterior closet, but they run big ducts. I mean through the chase. I mean to
so this whole closet was just for ducts.
Unbelievable, yes.
And was that also why the ceiling was so low?
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to run, I mean, the big ducts everywhere, so they minimize the space on the house. And now we're just gonna try to finish and rid off all the old system and create a bigger space on the ceilings.
So we're gonna see, and we're gonna overlay some video right here. We're actually gonna look at all of the portions of the outside of the house that were added just to add a central heating system. And so later in future videos, we're actually gonna talk about a different way to heat this house. And basically that all becomes free space for the homeowners to use for storage and for other mechanisms within the house. And so we're gonna walk forward this way. So now we're going out of the entryway and we're kind of walking to the base of the stairs. We're gonna go up to the stairs a little bit. We have a closet right here. And now we're gonna walk down this area. So what's down this hallway right here?
So now this hallway leads to the laundry room area and a powder room.
Okay, so this is the laundry.
Correct.
And I can see that we got the water supply and the drain for the washer and the dryer. Now these are two big doors. This is like a big door opening. What kind of door is this?
This one is going to be a bifold door.
Okay, so it's a door that opens up into like panels on each side.
Correct.
So that you can access to the whole space.
Correct. So you go, I mean, access to the whole space. I mean, the doors, I mean, go through each directions.
Okay. So why wouldn't we put swing doors here?
Because the space, I mean, the bifold
so the swing
doors,
door wouldn't literally open into the
Exactly,
space. Okay,
exactly.
Got it. All right, so now behind you, we have a bathroom.
Yes.
Is there anything special about this bathroom?
Just gonna be on a powder bathroom, you know. I mean, just for easy access to the family entertainment room.
Okay, so the powder means that it doesn't have a shower or a bathroom.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
So it's just basically a toilet and a vanity.
Just in a base bathroom.
Okay, great. And now you said this is the family room behind us.
Correct.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this space, because I see a whole lot of history in this space.
Correct. I mean, I cannot tell you, I mean, the whole history, but I mean, as we see, I mean, there's been many improvements on this house. When we started the project, it was part of the, I mean, where I'm standing now, it was part of the old bathroom.
Oh, okay.
So, which is his only access to this little family room.
Oh, okay. So this was actually 2 rooms before?
Before, yes.
Okay.
So now it became a graded room.
Okay.
With more access to
Okay.
be more comfortable. I mean, so we're gonna have our TV mounted on the wall.
Okay, so that's why we have these 2 boxes kind of in the middle of the wall is the TV.
Correct.
Right? And then this looks like an HDMI cable, so that's for the back of the TV. And then we have this. Now, this is all different cable. This isn't the normal power cable that we're seeing, and it's not a normal box. What is this type of cable?
All these cables is part of the low voltage system.
Okay.
So, which is gonna control coax cable, speakers, and Ethernet.
Okay, so that's all coming here to what's essentially going to be the stereo system.
Correct.
And then that's going to distribute sound throughout the house.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. And then I see over here, now we talked a lot about the history of this project, and I see here what looks like a whole lot of history. And what I mean by history is that there's things that we wouldn't normally see in a house we just freshly built. We're seeing like what looks like an old door. So we have a header over here, and it looks like there was a door here at one point, but then somebody filled in the door after the fact and then after that, it looks like somebody essentially cut away all the structure that used to be for the door and put a plumbing pipe through here. Is this just a testament to kind of what's going on, and that every person who remodels this house has got a different idea of what each space is going to be, and that a lot of times it's actually more cost effective and efficient to just kind of work through the existing than it is to kind of rebuild it so it all looks perfect?
Correct. Yes. This is part of, I mean, again, this is how we visualize like the house is being in different stages, being part of the different upgrades.
Okay, so that's really why we're really leaving this as it is and just trying to remediate it and make sure that it's structurally sound. That's why we have the straps across it.
Correct.
But really we're not trying to fix something that doesn't really impact the future homeowners, but would cost a lot of money to fix, even though the fix isn't required.
Correct.
Okay.
So what we're looking for is more the safer, and every improvement achieve the structure safer. So.
Okay. Now I see behind us we have an electrical panel, and as you know, I'm not a big fan of electrical panels inside the wall. Not only do you normally see the electrical panels that it's basically a big hole in the wall that lets sound and moisture and heat and energy in and out, because you're essentially replacing all of the insulation that would normally be in this wall with a big empty metal panel. And I even see below this panel there's water leaking out. So even though we haven't touched this side of the house, there's literally water leaking into the electrical panel and then onto the floor, soaking the floor. So what have you planned on doing to kind of fix this issue with this project?
Correct. Unfortunately, we will see, I mean, since all these heavy rains during this seasons, I mean, we'll find different leaks in different spots, which is, I think, is a great opportunity so we can correct and fix all those issues. But I mean, back to the main panel, so we're gonna upgrade the panel for a bigger one.
Okay.
And then
is that because we're going to make it an all-electric house and we need a bigger panel? Because this is a 200 amp panel. We're going to actually put a 400 amp panel in here to handle all the electrical in the house?
Correct.
Okay. And so is it going to be in the same spot right here?
It's gonna be in the same location, but in a mounted in exterior.
Okay, so the whole panel is going to be on the outside of the wall.
Correct.
Okay, and that's so that now we don't have the panel inside the wall replacing the insulation, and we can actually correctly insulate this, but we're also not going to have the probability of water coming in that space. Is
Correct.
that right?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. So why don't we go into the rest of the house?
go.
As we kind of migrate through, we're going to see the floors in this house are pretty amazing. I think I've seen 8 different floor types, from like old kind of stained, what looks like decking, to plywood of many different generations, and we have some really small pieces of plywood. So in California, normally we're really not allowed to put a piece of plywood on a project less than 2 feet wide.
Correct.
But here's some plywood that's like 4 inches wide, some 6 inch wide, and we got plywood all over this house. So really, is that just another kind of effect of this house having gone through lots and lots of generations of people living in it and modifying it and everything?
Correct. Again, all the little details tell us like the house has been involved in different upgrades. So now we're gonna, since we removed the flooring, so now we had the opportunity to make it better.
Okay.
So we're gonna add another layer of plywood to make it more structural.
So you're gonna lay
stronger.
plywood over this whole thing so that it kind of evens everything out.
Correct.
Okay, so I see a lot of like places where the plywood is different levels. How are you going to address that when you go to lay the plywood over this whole thing? Like, is this going to stick down, and is there other areas that are proud going to stick up?
No, essentially before to set the other layer of the software, so we're gonna sand it out the whole entire software.
So the whole thing is going to get sanded down so it's nice and even, and then when we take the glue, we're actually going to be cutting the glue down, putting the new plywood on that, and then screwing that down to the existing structure so that it's all super solid and flat.
Correct.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so now what are we looking behind us? I see some actually tape on the ground, and I see some plumbing kind of sticking up in the middle of nowhere. So what is the tape, and then why is there plumbing in the middle of the floor?
So the tape is essentially laying out the cabinet, so we got an idea, so where it goes in for the rough openings.
Okay.
And the plumbing that you see in the laying on the floor is for the islands. So for
Oh,
the
so these are
sinks,
islands. These taped off areas in the middle of the floors are islands. So this house is actually going to have two islands.
2 islands, correct.
Okay, great.
Correct.
And so this is for a sink?
For a sink.
Okay.
Yes.
And so why are there 2 pipes for 1 sink?
So this is because the sink is in the middle of the island. So one is for the ventilations.
Oh.
We need to create a loop for ventilation.
Okay, so normally, like we see back here, hidden behind the wood, we see a drain for the sink, and we see one that actually drains the fluid out, but the other one kind of wraps itself around. That's for the ventilation.
That's for the ventilation.
Okay,
Correct.
and that's required by code?
Correct.
Okay, and why is there ventilation required for code?
For all the ventilation is just for
For releasing the sewer
releasing
gases?
the sewer gases. Yes,
Okay.
essentially.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we don't do that, then we can get actually sewer gases coming up into our house. It's potentially not only really obnoxious smelling, but actually could make the air foul and unhealthy. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So now we look through here, and obviously this space is an extraordinary space. We have these big, huge doors, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about in future videos. So we're going to actually come over here, and we're going to go to kind of the rest of the downstairs. And one of the things, again, that I noticed when we first came in here was we're looking at this floor. And first of all, the floor is covered in what we call ice and water shield, which is essentially like an asphalt material. And it's usually used on roofs. So we're kind of trying to figure out why we see this, and we were thinking that this was probably an exterior space at one time, and that maybe this was a deck on the outside, and they actually put this down so that it didn't get destroyed by the water. Does that
water.
make sense?
Yes, totally makes sense. I mean, again, it's hard to
Figure out what happened in the past. Okay,
correct.
got it. And then I also know one of the requirements when we build a house is to make sure that the treads or what are called the risers, so the
Risers.
space on the front of the stair are the same. In fact, they have to be, for an entire staircase, they have to be within 3/8 of an inch of the same height. But there is very obviously a difference going on here. So how are we going to fix that?
Correct. Since we're gonna add another layer of plywood. I mean, basically, first to make it more structure, the primer,
The floor?
the floor.
Okay.
So it's gonna allow us to.
So that's going to raise this one up a little bit.
Correct.
And then we're going to add another layer up here to raise that one up. And between bringing this one up and bringing that one up, we're actually going to even these out so they meet code.
Correct.
And now, the reason that they have to meet code is because people get used to walking down a specific level of stair. So you get used to the drop for a staircase.
Exactly.
And if there's a big difference in that drop, people tend to trip and fall downstairs. And so we want to make sure that we're making these stairs really easy for people to understand when they walk down. Because the last thing we want is somebody to fall down a brand new house.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
You're right.
So as we come up this space, we're going to look at what's going on here. And I see some more plumbing in here, but we already have a kitchen. And this is either a really open bathroom or there's something else going on here. So and then we see actually outlets in the kind of middle of the wall. So are there more TVs here?
No, this is essentially going to be the bar
Oh, okay.
with the upper cabinets, lower cabinets. We're gonna have another sink here, another dishwasher. So
Okay, great. And then this space over here, I see essentially a framed wall, but I see a big hole in that framed wall. But so what's going on there?
yeah, this is essentially we're gonna install an aesthetic fireplace in this room, just to make it create a nice and comfy area in the house.
Okay. But I don't see any gas lines in this fireplace, and I actually don't see a vent for the fireplace. Is that going to be installed later, or?
No, this is because we're gonna install on a green product fireplace made it burning ethanol.
So it's ethanol. So denatured ethanol is what's going to be burned in here.
Yeah, denatured alcohol.
Okay. So what denatured alcohol is an ethanol that has an additive in it that keeps people from drinking it. So it's not a drinkable, consumable ethanol, and you can actually get it at much cheaper than you could get beer or wine or other types of alcohol. And the reason we're using that type of fuel for this fire is it actually gives you a real fire, but it gives you a fire without any of the noxious fumes that you normally see in a fireplace. It's only carbon dioxide and water vapor. And so you can burn these inside a house and you don't have to vent them to the exterior, which means that your house is actually going to be much more comfortable. Because a lot of times we're not even allowed to burn fire in fireplaces in California because of air quality issues. And a fireplace chimney allows a lot of moist air and cold air to come in during the winter times when you would normally be using a fire. So they're actually super inefficient. And the other thing about the unvented fireplace is there's very little risk of something catching on fire. They do provide a little bit of heat, but it's mostly about the ambiance of those fireplaces. So I think we've kind of hit the majority of downstairs right now. So why don't we go back upstairs and let's take a look at what's going on up there.
Let's go.
All right. So as we're going upstairs, we're actually looking at a new staircase, right? This stair didn't go this direction previously.
Yeah, no, it was totally the opposite way. So,
Okay, so it came up out of what is now the bar area and went into kind of right that area over there in front of the bathroom.
correct.
Okay, and so now we've come up here and we actually have this unbelievable space right in front of this big double door onto the deck upstairs. And we have this incredible view of the ocean. What's this space going to be used for?
This is just the hallway for the room, so
Okay.
you guys can get at the plenty space to, enjoy the view.
Okay. And then behind us, we have a bedroom. And this bedroom has a lot going on. But mostly it's the kids' bedroom. And what we found out is that when we first came in here, this was actually multiple spaces. And we had kind of a crazy roof where it seemed like whoever was framing this house didn't actually plan on having a flat ceiling.
Correct. It was kind of different shapes on the roof. It was not a consistent,
Okay.
not even consistent shapes. And now we become and make it flat roof, make looks everything consistent.
Okay.
And, the layout of the room, is changed.
Okay.
So now it's greater and with a double pocket door, which is, allows you to.
Okay, so the double pocket doors allow us to open this whole space up, but now we don't have to accommodate for the swings of the doors.
Correct.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So I love the design of that. So now what we're looking at is we come over here and we can actually see it in this window right here, where we have this window and we have a lot of this black paper right here. But in some places we can actually see through that black paper. So what's going on right here?
So the black paper is part of the original waterproof. In the reapers that you see, that's we check because we find water leaks.
So these are actually holes in the waterproofing
Yep.
underneath the stucco on the exterior of the house.
Correct.
And so does water actually leak through those if we have holes in the waterproofing? Because stucco is not waterproof, right?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay, and so we've actually found leaks in this, even though this isn't a portion of the building that we've actually touched on the outside. We haven't changed anything.
No.
And yet we still find
We still
leaks.
find leaks here.
Wow, that's great that we found those.
Yeah, that's really,
So
great.
how many of these leaks have you found since we've been working on this project in areas that we didn't actually touch?
That's correct. We find different water leaks in different spots, windows and the roof, and
Oh, really?
Yes.
The electrical panel that we saw
the
earlier?
electrical panel that you just
Okay.
saw there.
Great.
Yep.
So then we're going to go this way into what is essentially the office and a bedroom and a bathroom for upstairs.
Correct.
And I see this office, and this office, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, is actually an amazing space. I mean, it has a great view out here. Tell me a little bit about so it looks like we've replaced some windows in this space. So why did we replace the windows in here?
Correct. So this room is the office room, and again, so we modified the ceilings,
Okay.
so just to make it looks more consistent,
Okay.
and we replaced just the two windows,
Okay.
just to make it more efficient, since this room captured all the heat sun.
Okay, so it's a kind of a west-facing window or room, and it was catching a lot of afternoon heat.
Correct.
Okay, and so it was making the home or this room really uncomfortable.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
So
that's
what
not
we
such a
just
great
did.
thing when you're stuck in your office all day long working at home, right?
Correct. Yeah. So that's where we come with this great upgrades on the windows.
Okay, and so these are actually triple pane windows made in the United States, but they're a European style design, and they're specifically designed to have what's called a low solar heat gain coefficient. So that means that they're not absorbing or not allowing a lot of heat from the sun to come in, making this room a lot more comfortable for the homeowner while they're working during the day. And they're actually really good at blocking out sound. We're next to the ocean and we hear a lot of sound from the ocean, but when you're on a conference call or talking to your grandma, maybe so much background sound isn't so good. So let's go back into kind of the last two rooms of the house. We're gonna hit the bedroom and the bathroom. And this bathroom is really the only bathroom in this hallway area. So it services not only the kids' room, but also the office. Is there anything special about this bathroom?
Well, the only special thing, it's just that we reduced the space of it.
Okay.
The original bathroom, it was,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, it was combined with the laundry room. So the laundry room was part of the,
That's
inside the
right.
bathroom.
And this was like the craziest ceiling I've ever seen in a room. There was like 12 different facets on the ceiling in this one bathroom alone.
Correct. It was kind of, it was so hard to understand which shape we should have followed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so what is this? Is this just the shower right here?
Yes, correct. That's the shower.
Okay.
That's going to be the shower.
Okay.
The bathroom, shower, toilet.
Okay, the toilet, we see the big toilet drain in the floor, and then we see the vanities here.
Vanities here.
Okay. And so last room, we're going to walk through here, and this is an extraordinary room. It really is just an amazing space.
Amazing space, yes.
It's first of all, it's a huge, enormous space with vaulted ceilings, and it looks to me like you've added some wood to the existing framing. Tell me why you did that.
Yeah, this is again, this is part of the weird shapes on the ceilings.
Okay.
So we added a little bit more wood to achieve the consistent shape on the roof.
Okay, so just to make it look a little bit better so that we're not kind of fighting with the architecture of the house and it looks more refined?
Correct.
Okay. Now we have these amazing views through these windows. We have another door out onto the deck, which is extraordinary. We're going to talk about the deck in a little bit in future videos. And then lastly, we have in this corner, which is a really strange corner. So we have essentially a hole in the wall that doesn't really look like it's attached to everything. We have a lot of other framing that's going on that kind of tells you that this used to be a window right here, and now it's a much smaller window. But what's this hole for?
That one is part of the ventilations for the fireplace that was used to be here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we had a fireplace here. Oh, and that would explain why we have this gas line right here, right? So this gas line is no longer connected to anything, so we'll pull that out before we finish this project. So that's a tour of the Cliff House. And if you're interested in following this project or learning about building science or following any of our other projects, hit subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.